Hi fiber friends. Sorry, as you can hear, I've been sick. Well, welcome back. I'm gonna try and speak up even though I'm still super congested. Sorry. I realize I'm in my other 2 or 3 videos that I've been haphazardly throwing together. I have never introduced myself. So, my name is Hannah. I'm a knitter and maker that lives in Oregon with my husband, my son, and my 3 cats. And this is a video recapping everything that I knit and made in January. So yeah, let's get into it. I was wanting to record this video much earlier, like last week, and our whole house got hit with some kind of cold that's just been really fun to deal with. I was gonna record on the 31st and hopefully get the January recap video up by Monday, yesterday, but I was down for the count, so that was not gonna happen. Anyway, all that to say, I'm feeling much better today. I sound bad still, but I promise I'm feeling much better. I do have my water here to be taking drinks of. So if you want to get some water or a tea or a coffee to drink while you watch along as I talk about my knitting, feel free. I'll just start off with the finished knits that I got done this month. First off were my rib socks, which I made that project vlog about. They've been through the washer now, and the yarn bloomed really well. It's made them like a lot softer, a little pilly almost going through the wash. I always just throw my socks in the washing machine with my laundry, and I've never really had a problem with it. I know it's pretty rough on hand knit socks to do that, but I'm doing a lot of laundry with a toddler, so I kind of just have to, the socks have to roll with the punches. But yeah, so the Cascade Heritage yarn did get a little, I don't know if you can see the fuzziness that's happening. It's not the worst. It actually feels really nice, so yeah, that's an update with these. I've been wearing them a lot. They just feel awesome. They're great. Super happy with these. I'm hoping to cast on another pair this month, but I will get to that. Yep, so that is the rib socks by James and Watts, and if you want more info on these, watch my project vlog that I did where I gave all the info about them, and you can watch me knit the second sock. Next is an exciting one. It is my, well, still haven't woven in the ends. I participated in the Spin to Knit Harlow make along, which was where you spin the yarn and then you knit the hat, the Harlow hat. Now as you can see, this is not a hat, but this was the first skein that I spun up that I talked about in my first video, and it was kind of a weird skein, but I was really impressed by how it knit up actually. I think it looks very rustic, of course, but it's just really cool to see something that I spun knit up into something. And so I ran out of yarn as I was knitting this with my skein, and so I spun up another skein of yarn. Let me get it. This really, whoop, it turned out so pretty. I don't know if that is focused well. Let me hide my face. Turned out so pretty, but it's it spun up at a much lighter gauge. So it's like more of a fingering weight gauge. Some of it is around a DK weight, but a lot of it is really thin. And so this is like a DK or heavier, some parts gauge. And so as I was knitting the second half of the hat, it was just like the fabric was completely different. And the top felt really flimsy and open. And I didn't like that. And I didn't want to waste this skein that I'm really proud of on a hat that it just wasn't looking right. So I do want to knit this up into a Harlow hat though. And I have a darker fiber, so I think I'm going to spin up that darker fiber and then knit these two together to make and 2-color brioche, because I want to try learning 2-color brioche. And yeah, so that is my plan with this, is to knit it up with the darker fiber too. Yeah, but it was a really fun project. I did a lot of spinning, a lot of trial and error with Andean plying, which I Andean plied this, but since it was at a larger, it wasn't as fine. I just found that and it's this Icelandic, this really like toothy Icelandic fiber that it just grips onto each other. So I was like doing the Andean plying, which is like where you wrap it around your wrist to make like a center pull ball so you can do the 2 strands and spin it together. I'll insert a clip of me plying the yarn. But it made this like massive, because it was a lot of fiber. It was 280 yards of fiber that I was like wrapping around my wrist to try and ply it, and then it was all sticking together, and like I had to like cut it in spots, and there was like these huge tangles that I just had to cut out, and I tied it in one spot. So that skein's not perfect, but yeah, plying when you don't have a wheel is really interesting. I'm finding. I'm excited to, in the future of spinning, try plying from 2 separate colors, 2 separate balls of fiber, and not do Andean plying for such a large amount of like yarn, single ply yarn. Anyway, so for this was the Harlow hat pattern by Andrew Mowry. And I knew I was knitting it off gauge, so I kind of like tested to see how it would fit around my head, because I was learning how to knit the brioche stitch, and it's like really stretchy and nice. But because I was learning the brioche stitch, it was like I had to rip out probably about 3 or 4 times and then cast back on before I got a really nice like few rows and I could tell that I was doing it right. I don't know why I had such trouble with it, because I watched several tutorials and I was like, oh, this seems easy. Then I would try and do it and I would just like get so messed up. And so yeah, it was really fun to knit once I got the hang of it, I have to say. Yeah, so that is my Harlow, here I'll try it on, my Harlow hand spun headband, which I plan on using when I go running in the winter, because I don't have a good headband that's going to keep my ears warm when I'm running, and I really need one. So, get my ends on, got kind of like a Jack Sparrow, Anakin Skywalker dangly things happening. But yeah, I really like it, and it's super warm, and the bind off that I did on the top here was actually too tight, so it kind of cinches in, but that actually keeps it from falling off my head or slipping up off. I feel like it just like holds onto my head, which I have such trouble with other headbands. Like even like running headbands with like Velcro on the back, they would just kind of like slip off while I'm running, and I think that this will be really nice to keep my ears warm. I don't know about how like often I'll have to like wash it, you know, it might get kind of nasty. I will wash it, but I we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, I'm just excited to have a nice warm headband to wear while I'm running, or just wear outside, honestly, because man, it is cold, and I have a hat that matching hat that I knit for my son and for me, but and I love wearing that and matching with him, but yeah, I was like, it'll be nice to have another hat that I knit myself in a different color. Anyway, so now I have this headband, and eventually I will have another Harlow hat, but yeah, it does take me a long time to spin up all that fiber because I just have a drop spindle. I did get an Andean, or what, I did get a Turkish drop spindle for Christmas, and so I'm really looking forward to trying spinning on the Turkish spindle. That's just another thing that I haven't gotten around to yet. But yeah, I am looking forward to doing that. Okay, so moving on to my last finished object, or so to speak, my last finished little knit, are these scrappy little mittens that I knit for my son. And these are, the pattern is, what is it? World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. I think that's what the pattern is called. But yeah, they're just these, I just wanted to, well, my son really needed mittens because we go on a lot of walks and we always have to come back because his hands get so cold because, you know, he's picking stuff up. He's too young to know to stick his hands in his pockets. If I tell him, okay, stick your hands in your pockets, he's like, no, why would I do that? I need my hands just in case I trip and I fall. I need my hands to pick up rocks. I need my hands to, you know, stick them in the mud. I need, you know, so he didn't want to do that. But so he's been wearing these a lot actually, and they're already getting pretty dirty and worn out, and and there's like orange spray paint that got on them because he was like picking up rocks that the workers had sprayed. There's workers like tearing up the road all around the neighborhoods around where we live, and I don't know what they're doing, but they're spray painting everything. Anyway, Emmett really likes, or my son really likes the spray paint. Yeah, so he was trying to pick up those rocks and he got orange spray paint on them, and it was like right after the first time we like wore them out, I was like, it's whatever. I can't be precious about these because they're a utility knit. They're just to keep his hands warm while we're outside. And the more stain they get and the more, you know, roughed up they get, the better, because that's what they're for. But as a knitter, I was like, oh, the cute little stripes that I made in light gray and cream, which is a terrible color for toddler mittens, but it was just, you know, just using the scrap yarn that I have to try and, you know, use up all those little random balls of yarn that are just sitting around in like my knitting bags. Anyway, yeah, so that's these. I'm really addicted to making little toddler mittens, and so I will be making more of these, and maybe some child-sized ones to give to other toddlers that I know, other kids that I know. Keeping everyone's hands warm is the goal. They're just so fun, and if I had uninterrupted time, I could knit a pair of these in a day. But it is really satisfying to make so much progress on a tiny little project. Okay, moving on. I do have, this is not a finished object, but this is a swatch that I did in January for my new sweater project. And it's really dark. The yarn is a really dark chocolatey brown, really pretty, but I don't know if it, yeah, it's showing it. It's in person a lot warmer looking than I think it's showing up on the camera. But this is to knit the Amy sweater by didnt. That is the sweater I decided on because I just really want like a basic and I think it's really visually interesting even though it's more basic. So I've actually started this. I don't know if I started it. I guess I did technically start it in January because I cast it on in January. And I didn't have much progress, but I'll just go ahead and show it. The progress that I've made on it. Not much, but working on the yoke, the raglan increases. You can see here. Ooh. Hide my face. Hide my face so you can see the yarn. Yeah, so that's where we're at there. And you know, this is kind of the main thing I'm taking into this month, really hoping to make progress on. Oh, this is not a finished object from this month, but I did finally wash and block my son's little woodland jumper by Bluebird Pine Shop, and I knit this in Cascade 220, and look how cute it is, and it looks so, like, the fabric looks so much nicer, the ribbing looks so much nicer now that it's been blocked. I don't know, I knit this in the fall and I don't know why it took so long for me to wash and block it. I mean, he was using it all the time, and so I was like, I don't want it to, you know, have to dry for forever. This dried in less than a day, so I don't know what I was, like, holding off for. I was having some kind of mental block about it. But this is the same yarn that I used in the mittens, so when he wears both out when we're on our walks, he matches. The mittens matches sweater, which is kind of fun. Yeah. But yeah, I really want to knit myself a sweater in Cascade 220 because, like, look at how soft and drapey the fabric turned out. Yeah, obsessed with that. Yeah, and I really want to knit, this was a great pattern, and so I really want to knit another sweater for him. I want to knit sweaters for all the toddlers I know. This is the problem. This is why I never knit myself anything. Anyway, I got really sidetracked by that. Yeah, so let's go over what I'm still working on. I'm still working on the Amy sweater. That is my, like, whip work in progress that I'm taking into the next month. I'm hoping to make a lot more progress on that in the coming weeks now that I'm not super sick. I was working on it the other night and I was just, like, getting really, I don't know, when you're sick you just don't have the energy, and so doing all the raglan increases just was making me, I was like, I just can't focus on this. I was trying to do, like, it 2 rounds at a time, so you increase, then you knit, and you increase, and you knit. And so still working through that. Yeah, the other whip that I still have is my Berlin scarf. Let me get that out. Yeah, so this is my Berlin scarf. Still working on it. It's getting really long. Boop. I am working on this. This is my bachelor knitting project because something that I like to do is have my neighbors and my friends over and we watch The Bachelor, mostly just as, like, a bonding time. We're not really that invested in the show, but it's just really fun to get together and hang out on a weekly basis. And so The Bachelor's kind of our reason we just all get together and see what's going down with Grant this season. Yeah, if anyone else watches The Bachelor, let me know because it's fun to talk about. Yeah, so as you can see, this is getting longer. I still have, like, 3 balls of yarn and I just don't even know like how it could be that much longer. But I have like a couple more feet of knitting to do on this scarf before I do the tassels. So I gotta get cracking on that, but you know, that's my bachelor knitting time. And maybe by the end of Grant's season, maybe he'll find love. Maybe I'll have found my scarf. Yeah, we will see. Yeah, but I'm really not in any rush to do this. I started knitting this scarf with my neighbor who wanted to learn how to knit, or she knew how to knit but wanted to like pick it back up, I guess, because she didn't really know how to like cast on or cast off. And so I picked this project because I figured, oh yeah, you'll get a lot of knitting time under your belt because it's like a long scarf. It might have been too ambitious, and really you have to do a provisional cast on for this scarf, which I had never done before doing this. And so she was really confused, and I was like, I apologize. We probably shouldn't have started with this project. Maybe like a hat or, you know, something easier. But it's going to be beautiful when it's done, and I am excited to have that when it is done. Oh, another thing that happened this month, there's a lot that happened in January. A lot of like our anniversary, my son's birthday, my mom came into town to help with my son's birthday. He turned 2. I built a big train, so that out of cardboard boxes. So that was another thing that I finished and I made this month. And I should insert a picture of the train finished. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. When I set out to make a train, I kept saying, hey, I'm going to make a train out of cardboard boxes. It's going to be, his birthday's going to be choo-choo train theme because he loves choo-choo trains. But, oh, I need some water. We had just gotten a mattress box. We just got him his big boy bed, and so we had this mattress box. It was perfect timing. I used that for the train, and you know, got some spray paint. There's still a spray paint mark out in the lawn because I didn't put a tarp down. It was like go time making this train. Yeah, super fun though. I always, when I was in high school and even in college, I always wanted to like help do props for the plays. I was in student government, and so there was always like conflicting reasons why I couldn't be like help do that in the theater or take theater anyway, or I don't know why. But when I was in student government, I did a lot, like we did hall decorating, and that was my jam. I freaking love decorating the halls. We did one where it was Alice in Wonderland themed, and so I painted all the characters on butcher paper. We put them up. There was one that I think was it just like American or state park themed or American themed was our hall, which was really random. I don't know why we were decorating that way, but I made a giant Statue of Liberty out of like styrofoam and painted it, and you know, you were like projecting an image on the styrofoam. You've got the hot knife cutting, you know, breathing in all the fumes. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm going on about anymore. Oh, the train. Yeah, the train was really fun to make. And so next year I'm like, what am I gonna make next year? Anyway. Yeah, so that is everything I made and the works in progress that I'm bringing into next month. And some of my February plans. Oh my gosh. My February plans. I need to start my mom's shawl. She jokingly keeps asking me about it, and I'm like, I know you're joking, but I am feeling the pressure. I need to start it because I want to finish it before her birthday, and it's going to be a lot of back and forth knitting, even if it's part of it's in garter stitch, but there's a lot, it's still a lot, so I need to get on it. So that is a big project that I need to do. Get started on socks, I really want to knit my husband some socks. Last year I tried to knit him socks for Valentine's Day, and there was a lot that happened last February that like threw off all knitting, but also the socks turned out too small, so they're my socks now. And so he keeps being like, will I ever get my socks? And I'm like, yes you will. I'm so sorry. I keep like casting out all these toddler mittens and not your socks. So yeah, I'm gonna cast on those socks. So shawl, socks. So that's the Humblebee shawl by Fiber Tales for my mom. Socks, I think I'm gonna do the rib socks again for my husband. And my Amy sweater. What if I could finish that this month? That might be a fun goal, to try and finish a sweater in a month. Never done that before. I got close with knitting, it was more like 2 months. I knit my mom a sweater, a ranunculus, and that's still, I think, one of the best fitting sweaters I've made ever. It fits better than my ranunculus that I made, but that was the first sweater I ever knit, so giving myself grace there. I still wear it occasionally. Anyway, oh, and then knitting more gift mittens. I just want to make more mittens out of all my scrap yarn. I just want to knit all the toddler mittens that I can. Out of, you know, all the random balls of scrap yarn that I have. Because they're just so useful. Like, toddlers can still, like, pick stuff up. You don't have to, like, get all their fingers in the tiny, like, gloves. You just put the mitts on. And the ribbing on those is so, like, tight that my son can't just, like, yank them off. So he just, like, gets used to it and wears them. But yeah, that is a great pattern by Tin Can Knits. I've never knit anything by Tin Can Knits before, but highly recommend. Great. And maybe I need to knit myself some mittens. That's for another month. But my hands do be getting cold outside when we're on our walks. I felt bad because we were walking. We got the mail and I was like, I'm cold, buddy. We gotta go back. I'm freezing. And also, mommy's still not feeling great. So we gotta go home. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay, thank you. Usually it's really hard to get him to want to go inside at all. Anyway, well, that is pretty much it. I feel like I kind of rushed through everything, but I mean, there's not that much. Well, I did get a fair amount knit this month. Yeah, socks, headband, did my hand spun yarn, which took a lot of time. I did not anticipate it taking that much time. It took 3 days to ply up that yarn. Now I have 140 yards of hand spun yarn to use eventually. My scrappy mittens and my Amy swatch. That's all I did this month, and the train. Yeah, so yeah, looking forward to another month of making. Let me know what you're knitting on. I am in a book club, and so I don't read a ton, but my goal on my bingo card for 2025 is to read 13 books. So that's 1 book a month plus an extra book. And so the book that I read this month is called The Hail Mary Project, and it's by the guy who wrote the book The Martian that the movie with Matt Damon was based on. And you can tell it's very, like, the plot of the movie The Martian and the storyline in this book were very similar. Like, you could tell that it was written by the same person. Like, the writing style just, it feels like it could be transformed into a movie, essentially. I really liked the book. Highly recommend. It's about a guy. He's a science teacher, so I really liked that main character. I thought my camera shut off on me. Cool. I was talking about the book, the Project Hail Mary. I really liked it. it was a long book to read. I felt like there wasn't enough conflict happening in the first half of the book. He has amnesia, and so he's trying to remember what's going on. So the first half felt really slow, and then the second half, things start picking up. Like, there's like problems start happening in the mission. Finally, there's like some rising action and a climax. There's like a lot of build up before that, which is how I felt about The Martian too. If I'm remembering watching that movie. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. My voice sounds awful. Anyway, so if you're looking for a good book to read, I highly recommend that book. I found it really enjoyable. He does meet an alien and they become friends. It's a science fiction book. So, but I loved it. I loved the alien. I loved his personality. It was like, he's like so kind. Anyway, I hope that's not spoiling too much about it. I feel like it's not. That happened super early on in the book. Yeah. Shows we're watching, we started watching Lost. I've never watched it before, and really liking it. At first I was like, oh hell, because the reason we've never watched it before is because we both kind of know the ending, and so it was kind of hard to get into it knowing, or we think we know the ending anyway, but really liking it now. They always end with a really good cliffhanger and you just want to watch another episode. Yeah. So yeah, that's movies or books and movies and that I've been listening to. Music, I feel like I haven't really been listening to a ton of new music. I got like a free month of Apple Music, so that's been fun to be able to go and listen to the music I want to listen to. If you have any music recs, drop it down in the comments. Give me some good music to listen to while I knit and while I work this month. Please. Yeah, help me use my Apple Music, my free month of Apple Music to its fullest. Yeah, well, okay, so I'm gonna wrap up because my camera cut me off already, and so I'm gonna take that as a sign. Gosh, and this is a sign. I'm gonna go make myself some tea and hopefully edit this video, get it up. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out, listening to me ramble about knitting and the month of January, which seemed to last an eternity, but here we are in February. We made it. We're in month 2 of 2025. Unbelievable. I am really looking forward to this next month in making. I appreciate you being here watching the video. I hope you have a lovely day, lovely rest of your month. I might be checking in with another video this month. Who's to say? If inspiration strikes me, maybe I'll be back. But maybe I'll just be back with another knitting podcast at the end of February. We'll see. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!